Good morning. Welcome to episode 2 of Ask BINC. Guys, it's not you guys with the giggles. Last week we talked about just a bunch of different types of topics that we could be talking about over the coming episodes. Came up with some very good ideas. We thought that today would be a good day to talk about just our general place in the world of client recruiting and candidate kind of movement. Like candidates are thinking about different jobs that they're taking, candidates begin to consider new opportunities, and recruiters get involved. A lot of times candidates wonder, what's your place in all this? How do I work with you? What's your kind of interest in all this? Not only from like this deal perspective, but from my general careers perspective. And then clients, I think, are also wondering, like, do you represent me? Do you represent the candidate? What if you have the same candidate, that's a good fit for more than one job? Am I competing for candidates? So I thought this would be a good time to debate, what are we, right? Are we more agents to candidates? Are we agents to our clients? Are we brokers that are just trying to put a deal together? What exactly, are we, and what's our place in the world? So I guess on that note, first question is, when you find a candidate, is the interest to get him a job right here and then? Is the goal to broker a deal? Is the goal to establish a relationship and then help him find a job over a longer term period of time? What's the goal when you establish a relationship with a candidate?
I'd say the goal is to find him a job that's a good next fit in his career. You don't want to find him a job that isn't a good fit, even if it's right away, and then it ends up in 3 months it doesn't work out. You want to find him a job where it is a good step, it matches up technically, it matches up culturally, and in a position where the candidate would be there for an extended amount of time.
I think it kind of just depends on that person's situation. I mean, if they need a job tomorrow, then you're going to go out and ask your 20 different candidates, or 5 different clients, whatever, and see if they need someone like this. If someone's passive, they're really happy with what they're doing, then you can be passive on their end too, and wait for that perfect situation. I think it kind of just depends on them. You can kind of play by that.
Yeah. When you guys, what's your mentality towards recruiting? Is your mentality find a company, find an open job, and then hustle to fill it? Or is your mentality find a candidate, find someone that's super good, super marketable, super of interest to our client or market base or whatever, and then shop them around until they find their ideal fit?
I think it has to be both. To be good at headhunting, you can't be focused on just one or the other. You have to go out, you have to find the clients, you have to pursue the companies of interest, and then obviously find people for them. But you also have to keep an eye out for those guys who are just 10 out of 10 that everyone wants to talk to. It can't be mutually exclusive, it can't be one way or the other.
I feel like where we're most effective at really is kind of the more broker mentality. My preference is to have a large pool of high quality candidates that are interested in that ideal next step. Go out and just as we identify roles, identify companies who are looking for those kind of people, and then just kind of piece and match people together. Certainly more than capable of going out, and headhunting, an individual candidate for an individual job. But I think we're most effective to both our candidate and client base whenever we maintain that pool of candidates, and then kind of broker a deal between, take those candidates to market whenever there's that ideal role.
Yeah. And I usually structure it kind of towards how the economy is. When things are getting rough and people aren't hiring and companies are downsizing, you have to focus more on the candidate side. You have to align yourself with the guys who are 10 out of 10, the Stanford, MIT, Berkeley grads, the people that, regardless of the economy, people are going to want to hire these guys. When things are good and every company's hiring, you have to align yourself with only the top tier clients. Only if everyone's hiring, you have to make sure that you're only dealing with that top 10% that's going to get these candidates interested when they know there's multiple job opportunities out there for them.
Okay. So if a candidate or client asks, where's your loyalty? Is your loyalty to me, the company, the one that pays you? Is your loyalty to me, the candidate, the one who is, essentially your product that you're placing, basically, right? Or is your loyalty to yourself? Is your loyalty to the deal? Where's your loyalty?
I think I personally think you share loyalty between the candidate and the client. I think I'd split it straight down the middle. I don't think you have a larger loyalty to one versus the other. It's not just because of the client that we make our living, it's because of the candidate as well. So although the candidate doesn't specifically pay our bills, it's a candidate who finds that good position. We work with through the process, and we represent their interests as well as the clients. So I think they're split right down the middle. I don't think one outweighs the other. That's my opinion.
I'll take the controversial stand again and say I think we represent the client, or we represent the candidates by and large, and I think that really at the end of the day we end up best serving our clients when we serve our candidates. And I would say it's kind of a backwards model that our clients pay our bills, and we have phenomenal standing relationships with our clients, but at the end of the day I think we really, at least in the model I described, where we go out and we represent a large talent base, I think that in that model and in that way of doing business, that really at the end of the day we represent our candidates. But obviously it's it's certainly a system, like Eli said, where you do have to always keep everybody's best interest in mind. But at the end of the day, I think you represent your candidates in a more appropriate model.
I could be coming from like a little bit of a different perspective when I say this, but in my perspective, it seems like we're representing the clients, and we're just going out and finding good people that match that client, what they're looking for, what they need, their specific job description, their specific team unity, things like that, and then we back that up with is what the candidate looking for match what the client needs, and if it doesn't, then we'll working with different clients, working with different teams, things like that. But it seems like we get a client, we get a job description, we get a job order, and then we go and find people that fit that.
And you raise an interesting point there that we all do have our desk structure a little bit differently, and like you said, kind of as the head research guy around here, like your role is structured a little bit differently than kind of everybody else here is. And I think that even Eli and my desk is kind of formed up differently. I think everybody here does things a little bit different. I can definitely see how from your perspective you really do more work from kind of the client's vision. But I guess maybe it's more, probably the best way to answer this question for yourself is, at the end of the day, are you trying to put yourself in the client's shoes or in the candidate's shoes? And I think I find myself putting myself in the candidate's shoes more time during the course of the day than I do trying to see things from my client's perspective.
I think our loyalty has to be to ourselves. I mean, that's who we work for. We work for ourselves. That doesn't mean that our candidates and our clients don't see value out of our service, but at the end of the day, we're doing this so we get paid. Now, the way we get paid is by making long-term deals that stick and make sense. So, yeah, it benefits the company, yeah, it benefits the candidate, but our only obligation to either side is to give them something. We have to give the clients access to candidates that they normally wouldn't have access to. We're saying, I'm not promising you this guy, but here's a shot at this guy, and here's what he's looking for, and if you want him, this is what it takes. And on the candidate side, we're saying, I'm not guaranteeing you anything, but here's an opportunity to go meet with some of the, the best clients out there, the best companies, the more innovative guys who are actually doing something. I think apart from that, that's where our obligation stops. Now, good recruiters smooth out the process, and they get rid of red flags and things that come up along the way. Most of the time, candidates and clients don't really know that. A lot of times candidates will have concerns at the yin-yang about a company that will never get back to a company.
Aren't you in a situation right now where something got a little bit almost like roughed up or rustled up?
No comment. No comment on that.
But without mentioning any names, I mean, like, throw the situation out there. I think it's a pretty, appropriate one.
There's a couple things that I'm working on that are a little bit like that. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. So that's my story anyway. But no, I think at the end of the day, our loyalty lies to ourselves, and I think that all parties benefit from that.
Yeah, no, I'll kind of follow up on what you said. Maybe saying our loyalty lies to ourselves might kind of be skewed or taken wrong in the eyes of our client and candidate base, because it is about us, but it's not really about us. I think it's not so much about us. I think it's more about the deal and the transaction, and then in this case the placement, right? So that from that perspective, making us very true brokers in this transaction, right? Find a candidate, find a client. It's our job to kind of broker them to be together. And as a broker, I think you represent both sides, equally, to make sure that everyone's getting everything that they want in order to ultimately make this work. Work with a candidate, make sure that it's the right job for them, make sure it's the right cultural fit for them, make sure it's the right commute and right money, everything is right for them. And then you work with a client and you make sure it's the right kind of candidate, right skill set, right dynamic, right everything for them. And at the end of the day, you help them kind of walk towards the middle of the street, hold hands, and forever, or at least for 3 to 5 years, be
right into the sunset.
Be very happy together, right? So I think from if you take our role and obligation to recruitment, to clients and candidates, I think we're true brokers in the sense that I don't think there's any agent in there. Because if you think about what an agent does, you look at the kind of glorified Hollywood agents, right? Look at Jerry Maguire, look at Ari Gold, right? I mean, those guys are the 2 more well-known ones. what's their obligation? Where's
Their
their
obligation
loyalty?
is strictly to their client. That's it.
And in their case, their clients,
clients,
just to
their
not
candidate.
convolute the word, in their world, their
Yeah,
clients
their
are candidates, right?
It's
Well,
a-
their
the sports
clients
stars,
keep the
it's
individual, and they're
Vincent
trying to link
Chase,
them
right?
up with the company.
Right.
You know,
But-
but
And they're trying to represent them as best they can, and like they get them one deal, they get them one movie deal, and then a year later when they finish up that project, they finish up that deal, they do it again.
Right.
And they
But-
continuously work with them. We pretty much only work with them on a
through the duration of that deal.
Yeah.
But I think that changes though. Like as we establish relationships with good candidates, I think like our responsibility to them transcends just that one specific deal. And on that note, let's cut it and go to the next one.